So, in the first dream, I was in some sort of shop. I think it was the gift shop to a SpongeBob related museum. Not very confident about the SpongeBob part though. And they were selling a lot of different items. I started by checking out some aquatic themed computer mice, but then my attention is drawn to a counter with a bunch of handmade clay trinkets, with a cluster of them all being Dweller's Empty Path themed. Now, most of the Dweller's ones were just of Yoki, but one of them was of a Nokia phone with a text message from Claire on it, and in the dream I understood that the trinket was a replica of the phone owned by Stairs Creature, the creature that lives in Yoki and Claire's stairwell and that texts with Claire through their Nokia phones. This is a drawing of Stairs Creature that I made shortly after the dream. I kind of like the concept of Stairs Creature. I imagine that if I were to flesh out the character, I would make it so that Claire is the one who first discovers them, pretty soon after she moves in with Yoki. Like, Claire would be like, "Yo, you didn't tell me there was a creature living in your stairwell." And then Yoki's like, "There's a what?" And then Claire's like, "Yeah, it's been texting me." I think part of the reason I find Stairs Creature so intriguing is that Claire doesn't really have that many established relationships in the canon. Like, it's really just her friendship with Yoki, her broken bond with iModel, and her hatred of Zara. Yoki's really her only friend that we know of, and so I think giving her a strange and mysterious entity to talk to would be such a whimsical way of giving Claire another character to bounce off of. I also think the fact that it's a Nokia phone specifically is interesting. Temmie seems to have a very wishy-washy view on how technologically advanced the Dweller's world should be. Yoki has a fridge and lamps, but weaponry still seems to be swords and spears and shit. Also, there's a fucking cyborg. Having a mobile phone feels out of place, but with iModel, the damn robot right there, it really shouldn't be that out of the question for phones to exist. Okay, the second dream is slightly more coherent. This one actually took place within the world of Dweller's Empty Path, a long ways after the canon. It was centered around Charles and him finally reuniting with Yoki. It started with Charles knocking on the door to his and Yoki's house, and it being answered by Claire. Claire is then like, "Who are you?" And Charles is like, "Do you know someone named Yoki?" And then Claire is like, "Yeah, she lives here." And Charles gets excited, and then Claire leads him to Yoki's room. Okay, important detail I haven't mentioned yet. Charles is fat and kinda worried that Yoki will make fun of his weight gain. But while him and Claire are walking up the stairs, Charles notices that Claire is a bit chubby herself, and so he starts to not worry so much, since if Yoki lives with someone who's chubby, she would probably be respectful about his weight. So after they get past the stairs, Charles goes into Yoki's room, and it turns out that Yoki has become even fatter than Charles is. Like, she's even bigger than Big Yoshi, but before Charles has time to process that, he's already sprinted straight to Yoki to hug her, and they show her some tender, "I can't believe it's really you." After this is when the dream gets weird. Yoki slides from her bed to one of those swivel office chairs that's beside her bed, and then swivels to the right side of her room, which has a massive bookshelf of video games on it. And then she starts pulling games off of it, specifically the ones in the section for those lower-priced re-releases of PS3 games that had the red PS3 headers, and shows the boxes to Charles, and for each one of them asks something along the lines of, "How does this one make you feel?" Like she's Scott the Woz or some shit. This is a drawing, with some creative liberties on Charles's reaction, of the interaction that I made shortly after the dream. I think this one's kind of wholesome, despite its absurdity. Obviously, having Charles and Yoki reunite is automatically going to be wholesome, and I also think that Yoki immediately wanting to share a new hobby with her brother would be very cute. I think the odd part of this dream is that Charles' self-consciousness about his weight never amounts to anything. After Charles enters Yoki's room, neither of them mention or even think about their weight gains. I think that was just caused by my brain losing track of what was supposed to be going on, but I think it ended up happening at a fitting place in the dream. Just seeing that Yoki has also gained weight, has gained more weight than him even, is enough for him to completely let go of any anxieties about his body, and I don't know, I just think that's sweet. Anyways, comment below, who would you rather put in your Dream Blunt rotation? Stairs Creature or Fat Gamer Yoki?